You know, one thing I don't like about Arne Slot, right? Regardless, if he wins Champions League, I still want him out. Because he's very arrogant and ignorant guy, right? What's the point of having an academy, right? If we're not going to play those young players, what's the point? He sold a lot of those players. Harvey Elliott is wasted at Aston Villa because of his ego. He wouldn't give a chance to Freddie Kaiser, right? That's down to him. He's been ignorant. One game, what difference does it make? Kaiser is a good player, right? We got him on the cheap. He should be playing him, giving him more chances. Every time you see he comes on, he scores a goal. He should be given more starts, right? That's why I want Arne Slot out, right? Because I do think Arne Slot, is a very ignorant, arrogant man, right? Kwanzaa, I can understand going, right? He needs first team football, right? I mean, we're buying these youngsters and we want to bet them in, but we're letting out one of our youngsters go. Kwanzaa should have never been sold, right? Few of the other youngsters been sold. Tyler Morton should not be sold. 10 million. It's peanuts, right? And I can't remember one of the players they sold as well. Some players I do not understand why they sell them, right? Some I can understand, some youngsters, right? But to sell them when, we need players. They bought 4 young players, right? Quality young players. And these guys can also improve. The ones they bought now, right, are not proven in the Premier League by any stretch of the imagination, right? They are good, yes. They've got potentials, just like the ones we sold. They're in the same boat. Right? They might be a bit more talented, but they're still in the same boat. So, regardless of anything, right, even if Arne Slot wins the Champions League, right, and the FA Cup, we're still in the FA Cup, right, that is a possibility also, right? But I still want Arne Slot out. In the long term, I don't like the guy. He's very arrogant, very rude, right? Now, if you like, Jurgen Klopp is a legend, mate. The guy never complained. He got on with it. He used academy youngsters. We won a League Cup with them, right? In 2021 season, right? We qualified by having academy players. We had so many injuries, right? And this clown does not give youngsters a chance. If we had the youngsters playing, right, we would have been a lot higher in the league, right? And that's why where we are, right? We play well in patches, We'll have 1 or 2 decent games, and then and against Newcastle, I do think, as to speculation, right, that the players want to do it for the fans, and they did it, right? Arsenal's going to win the league not because they're better than us, but because our manager is a very arrogant guy. It's his fault. Yes, FSG didn't provide. I blame FSG equally, but you've got to make use of what you've got. If you're good enough, doesn't matter. You will get it. But, we're the worst Premier League defending champions, and Arsenal will be the worst Premier League champions, right? But I do blame Arne Slot more than FSG. Yes, they did try to sign players. So why didn't they go? I mean, he's got players at the academy. Some players who haven't been out on loan. There's a couple of centre halves could have been put in there. In this sort of situation, they would have done well. Look on the Klopp. They might be the long-term runners, but they're still good players. And Arne Slot, the problem is his ego, right? He is a bit like Pep Guardiola, checkbook manager. Yes, they won. There was no style, but they done well last season. You look under Klopp, some of these games, we are better. Our squad is way better than Arsenal's. We need centre halves, yes, which they've signed 4 youngsters. And this last Frenchman, this I can't pronounce his name, right? Jackie, I think. I think he's ready to get into the side. And they've got to sign, you know, we say this, that no player's bigger than the club, but, you need players. And sometimes players don't just come for the club, they come for the money. It's a fact. We, as Liverpool, probably don't have that pulling power. Nobody does, apart from Real Madrid, right? And at the end of the even there, what boils down to is money. What wages are you willing to pay the player, right? So before anybody thinks even there, nobody's got pulling power, right? And regardless of what Arne Slot does this season, he has to go. And we have to bring in Xabi Alonso. Because I think with Xabi Alonso, he'll play the academy youngsters, he'll bed them in, right? And he'll have a mixture. And I do like his tactics. He's a bit of an attacking-minded manager with the right balance. Arne Slot doesn't like that. Arne Slot is egotistic. And what Xabi Alonso tried to do at Real Madrid was great. And they're going to regret it. They ain't gonna win the trophy this season. Because, the president is an egotistic fool, right? Very arrogant. His team has to win. No, anyway, even if it means cheating, do it. If that was me instead of Salah that day in 2018, right? Sergio Ramos would be in so much injuries and pain that day, he would have held his hand up and never done it again. He's a lucky boy. Because Mohamed Salah is a straightforward guy who does his stuff on the pitch.